There's one scene, they have a red band trailer here. And I almost wish they didn't show it because it's one of the best kills in the movie, but I'll show you just a little bit. Man, Leatherface could learn something from this, man. That one chainsaw kill right there is better than anything they had, than most of the kills they had in that last Texas Chainsaw Massacre requel that they had on Netflix, man. Back in 2020, 2 years ago, when Dave Grohl and his band, the Foo Fighters, when they decided to make a movie, it was truly an inspirational moment because they said, you know what, we're not going to let a little thing like acting stop us. We are going to, we have a dream and goddamn it, we're going for it. And that dream was Studio 666. This is the new horror comedy movie by the band. I say new like they've made one before. No, they haven't done any kind of real big movie in it before. This is their cinematic debut, I would dare say. And look, who needs acting when the real fun is just watching Dave Grohl kill his band? Who needs acting when most of the fun is seeing Dave Grohl being inhabited by an evil spirit, being possessed by a haunted mansion, and pretty much going and carving up his bandmates. People, and gruesomely doing so too. And that's the plot of what this is right here. So you have Dave Grohl and the gang. They're working on their 10th album. That's a milestone right there. And of course, Dave, being the incredible musician that he is, some people say perfectionist, he wants to find the perfect sound for this. So he tells his, I guess, their producer or their agent, he says, hey, put us someplace where, we can be inspired, an environment we can all be together and make this the best album ever. At this point, the agent hates him. He's pretty much pissed at them. He's like, you know what? I got the perfect place for you. A haunted mansion. They get up in there and Dave gets possessed. And while this guy finds another key that never existed before.
Sure.
This guy is so inspired. He's making a legendary album, y'all. No doubt. But it comes at a price. Your soul.
Anytime the devil's involved.
Anytime the devil's involved. Of course, as I said, we got 666 as in Studio 666 as in 1999. But it wasn't 1999, it was 999. You turn upside down at 666. But no, man. So, people, is it not enough to just simply watch Dave Grohl go out there and chop up the rest of the Foo Fighters? Or were they required to actually be real thespians? Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer for a band that I really love.
Here you go, man. Finish the song.
You did.
So you have some people who cannot act, and they are completely unaware. Just stupid. Just don't know how bad they truly are.
What are you in here for, man? Waste my time? Bitch. I thought I fired you. What?
You fired me one because of the goddamn dragon sound? That's bullshit. Now who you bullshit?
Okay, so people, apparently you yourself. Those guys, they are ad-libbing their ass off. They're improvising, and they are terrible at it. But they are trying.
They're trying.
They think they're real actors.
Uh-huh.
They think they're really doing something.
They're putting the work in.
They're putting the work in.
I mean, it might not be going well, but they're putting the work in.
But they're putting the work in. And then you have people like the Foo Fighters who are fully aware that they cannot act and don't give a shit. they're gonna try. They're gonna do it. No, whether you like it or not. Yeah. They're gonna go out there and do what they gotta do.
They showed up. They're just gonna read whatever.
Yeah.
And if they don't do a good job, they don't care.
They don't care. And I would say that both groups, column A, column B, the ones who are unaware of how bad they are and the ones who are very aware of how bad they are, they both have their charms for me. And I'll be honest with you, I actually have fun watching them do that, man. Now, I'm going to say this because there's two people who were going to this movie, because Martin already told me yesterday. He told me, he's like, this movie's bad, and I already knew that, you know, this is probably after I watched the trailer, I said, yeah, this is something that he wouldn't like. I can already tell, you know. But, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is, you know, this is a very niche kind of film right here, man. And, you know, those things that aren't traditionally, you know, done here, such as acting well, you know, that's not going to appeal to everybody. But, you know, that's, again, why we're here, because I think we are two different people who saw, you know, just two different things in this film right here.
Okay.
So, you know, in fact, you go ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah, I get that by saying it's a comedy, you get away with being goofy or having people not be good. Or at least ostensibly that's how it is. But you do have to it works much better when you have people who kind of know what they're doing with a little bit of good acting. And to me, this struck me as, okay, if I was a super fan of the Foo Fighters, or I was already familiar with each of these guys, maybe it'd be fun to watch them around. But I'm not, and the jokes aren't that funny. The editing's horrible. And there's so many just bad reaction shots. Like, even if I put aside these guys who aren't actors, you know, not acting, I could go like, well, Dave Grohl, he's not as good as he thinks he is, but he is putting a lot of work into it. He's trying. The filmmakers were pretty bad. The only thing they seemed to really care about was the gore effects. And hey, great job on those.
Yeah.
Those all look really good. But you can see that like that was what they knew how to do as far as directing, making things comical or working with actors. Not at all. And even with this story, story of the possession, the director each threw in everything he knows. It's like he's seen all these demonic movies and had some ideas and left none of them on the table. Just dumped them all. And probably the biggest problem was that this movie is just too long.
Now that, I will say, is a problem. This movie does not need to be almost 2 hours long. This does not need to be an hour and 48 minutes. There's a lot of dead spots in here, and it's almost, the band are the executive producers on this. So this is almost going to a self-indulgent level. This does not need to be an hour and 48 minutes long, y'all. I'll tell you that right now. And I felt that. I felt that completely. It felt like some of those movies that bands make, and they're just fun because, you know, the band is having fun doing this. This is not anything new. This has been done a lot. And I've grown up watching some of these movies. I've seen some of these movies that were made before my time. And some of them have the band cannot act in them. So they become more of a cult thing. Or the band is so big that we let it pass. I mean, the Beatles made several films where they cannot act, but they just went out there and just had a good time doing it. And somehow, some way, with them having fun, it just made it fun for the audience watching them.
This is the famous Beatles.
Season ticket. Oh, like a lot of seasoning to be soup.
You know, a lot of people love the Beatles being deadpan, but they're not actors, man. You know, that's just it. They made several films. Probably the best film that they've made is Yellow Submarine, and their cartoon characters doing voices in that. I remember growing up with a movie back in the day, and it's bad, but it's a cult thing, and kids loved it, and the actors are terrible. But everybody loved the band back in the day, and it was a TV movie. It was called Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
He's the one, all right. Almost tore my arm off.
Jeans clean.
A pussycat. Almost.
Dude, that could be for a Tuesday show.
Yeah, we couldn't know. This movie's terrible, but I remember growing up loving it. And, you know, there's movies like that where, you know, the band is just out there having a good time. You know, this took too long to get going. For one,
It's very repetitive.
The band comes in and they're just doing, you know, they're having fun hanging almost while making a movie. So they leave a lot of stuff in there with them doing that. You know, they're making themselves have fun. They spend a lot of time eating Doritos. They're definitely doing a sponsorship on this because this thing is almost, they're eating a out of Doritos in this. It's almost like it's
an hour and 45-minute Doritos commercial.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like a long ass Super Bowl Doritos commercial. because they got the Foo Fighters in there. For me, there genuinely are some good gags in this, man. There's a lot of things that actually worked. There's a scene here where Lionel Richie cusses Dave Grohl out, man, for trying to, for messing with his song. I actually laughed at that. And they called a favor in from Lionel Richie to do that. So
yeah, I laughed at that one scene.
Yeah, no, I like that, man. They have a cameo by other actors. I'm not going to say all the actors that come through here. Some you'll just have to see, and you do catch them in the trailer. But just when you see the movie, you'll see them come in. But once the kills start coming in, it moves up a little faster for me. Some excellent death scenes in this, man. If your movie is to just kind of glorify the gore that you have, and that's what you want to do, you're not trying to like shock or tell a story or something, and then all of a sudden accidentally we just spend more time on blood. No, they meant to come in here and do that. They're having a good time with these gore effects. These guys are probably horror movie fans, and they want to make a whole bunch of gory deaths themselves, and they do that. Some of these deaths are so bad that they caught me off guard. When I say bad, I'm talking about people got it bad. Shit, there's one scene, they have a red band trailer here. And I almost wish they didn't show it because it's one of the best kills in the movie, but I'll show you just a little bit. Man, Leatherface could learn something from this, man. That one chainsaw kill right there is better than anything they had, than most of the kills they had in that last Texas Chainsaw Massacre requel that they had on Netflix, man. Shit, Leatherface is probably looking at this and, God damn, he throws his chainsaw, man.
Well, he does throw it a lot.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah. Then this is directed by the guy that did Hatchet 3. If anybody's seen those movies, I have not seen Hatchet 3, but looking at what he does with the kills here, if he wants to, he should have been the one to take the Texas Chainsaw Massacre if they had a better story.
You still think he's dead?
Bitch. With this, I enjoyed the band. Just messing around with each other. Because they know they can't act. And I'm looking at it, not expecting them to really act that well. I know going into it, the Foo Fighters ain't no actors. And the thing with them is that they ain't making no transition. Foo Fighters ain't trying to go to the big screen. They're not trying to be thespians. They're not trying to be actors. This is not a career change. This is them, as I said, around, and having fun. And that actually felt sincere. They can't act, and a lot of things that they do is not believable, but that was believable for me, them having fun with each other. I could tell that these guys been around for a long time. And the reason why they've been successful as a band is because they enjoy being around each other. They enjoy making music with each other. Now they enjoy making movies with each other, even though none of them can act a bit. But that felt real. I tell you, if I saw this at the Alamo Drafthouse with some friends, because I'm not telling anybody to go to the theater to see this at all. It's probably much better suited for streaming. But if I was at the Alamo Drafthouse with some friends and we're drinking some beers and watching this, I would have been having fun with this and with them. That's what I'm saying. It's not for everybody. You're going to have people like Martin, and then you're going to have people like me.
Okay. You got people like this.
I didn't say that. I said you got people like me and you got people like you who are going to see two different things here. Because I understand that. This is that kind of movie. It's a stupid little, it's a stupid little round film with people that just have money to make it. And that's exactly what they did. And for some people that's going to work, and for some people it's not. In respect to the people who are not liking it, because it's not for everybody and shouldn't be expected to be that way. But then I do see where people can go and enjoy this and have fun. Okay. So it's just one of those things where if you know somebody whose sensibilities look like this movie would appeal to them, then recommend it to them. If you see people who know they don't want to deal with this shit, and not to bring it up to them. If you know somebody like me who might want to go get a beer and watch this craziness, then they recommend it to them. So it's as simple as that. It's nothing deep. It's nothing. No one has to get in anything. Big discussions over this. This definitely no debate movie, all right? Ain't nobody sitting up here arguing about Studio 666. Y'all got better shit to do than sit around and get an argument with somebody over Studio 666. It's a goofy little film for goofy ass people like myself, and then some other people who don't want to deal with it. Then totally understandable. What would you rate it, man?
Well, I tell you, you're right about, and I brought this up, is how skillfully the kills are. They're creative and a lot of love and work put into them. And it would be those would be better in something like a Chainsaw Massacre with a good script.
Yeah.
And I did like the music a lot. Everything else, yeah, like you said, it's them around. It reminds me of when a bunch of people get together, they make a movie, and they're excited, and they show it to you, like, what'd you think? You're like, I wasn't that funny. Well, it was just, we did this for us because it made us laugh. And it makes me go like, that's cool. Well, then you go watch it. Why are you showing it to me? And yeah,
But then there's people like me who do actually like it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I mean, but go ahead, please.
Right. So I'm just explaining why it's still that long running time that I found that unforgivable. It was some old bullshit to me.
So in the chat, somebody said, here's your rating. Eat a whole lot of Diet Smoke and then go see it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like if I saw this, I wouldn't tell you to go see this. If I was hanging out with somebody like Tony, maybe.
No, Tony would be all over this.
No, if I was hanging out with Tony and I would watch this and we would love it. So, yeah, no, man, I get it. Yeah, I'm trying to think, because I can definitely see with this is something that would work very well. Probably better for streaming. I could see this either going to a streaming platform or I could see it being on VOD and being ordered that way with a bunch of stoner friends and watching it. But, I don't know, man.
In a theater, it strikes me as a midnight movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be like. So, you know what? I would say, for myself, it would definitely be a matinee film. But as an official rating, I give it a high rental, man. And it would, so definitely something more probably reserved for the home. But if you happen to see it at the theater, there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I wouldn't tell anybody to rush out to see it. It definitely works better at home, while drinking some beers or drinking whatever and having some friends around. So yeah, I give it a high rental. Still a positive for me. A very high rental is a positive for me. But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. It's just keep in mind who you recommend it to. That's all. Hey, you know your friends and you know yourself more than anybody else. So, and there's movies like that. Not every movie's made for every person out there. And that's why they're called a niche.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a niche film. Somebody said, I can't wait for Green Day to make a movie. You know what? You put it perfect, Crispy Computer Fish. It looks like a lazy afternoon movie. I would say lazy afternoon if you're at home. You're not doing anything. Could be fun. But Martin hit it perfect too when he said it's a good midnight movie.
I didn't say it was a good midnight movie. I said it's a midnight movie.
I think it's a good midnight movie. I think it's fun to go see with a crowd. But it is that movie where I can see somebody like yourself walking out and saying, these goddamn fucking festival people like ain't thing shit.
Exactly.
And then I'm coming out behind you. Hey, Martin, that was great, wasn't it? Off me. Somebody in the chat said, niche, please. Hey, everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts.